Cool. Okay, you know what? It's been so long since I've been on Facebook Live that you guys have probably forgotten who I am. So my name is Edward Stevens. First of all, where's the camera? There? There? Okay, that's where I'll look. Okay. Edward Stevens with the Stevens Group at ReeceNichols. It's been so long. So many things have changed. The market has changed, the face of our team, the people on our team, clients have changed, but there's one thing that hasn't changed. I am still your real estate source. So today I want to talk to you about something really important, especially in this market today. It's kind of a secret weapon. For whatever reason, people who buy homes, maybe you, get linked up with a lender who doesn't go over all of the things that you should know before you're out shopping. So I want to try to fill in some gaps, and one of the gaps we're going to talk about right now is recasting. I would say probably 50% of our clients are first-time home buyers, never heard of the word recasting before. So what recasting is it's an opportunity for you to put down a large principal payment later. You don't have to do it right away. You don't have to do it on the day you close. You can do it later, months later. And then the lender will take your loan, they will re-amortize it, recast it, and then they will drop your monthly payment. So here's an example. Let's say that you bought a home 3 months ago, and then you just got your bonus. You got a bonus at work. You got a $20,000 bonus at work. You might want to use that bonus money to re-amortize, recast your loan so that your monthly payment, your monthly mortgage payment actually drops from here on out. If you're paying $2,500 a month for a mortgage, you might be able to go back and recast your loan with your lender, and it goes from $2,500 to $2,300 or something, or $2,100 or whatever. That is one example. Now you might say, well, wait a minute, why can't I just take that $20,000 and start making principal payments, right? Maybe I'll just start making double payments every month. That's kind of a common thing people do. They'll just start paying double payments, or they'll just call up the bank and say, I want to make one big payment, $20,000, to knock down my balance on my loan. You can do that, but it's not going to lower your monthly payment any. So keep that in mind. So that's one example of recasting, right? Let's say you got a bonus at work. Another one would be, let's say you're selling your house, and you're going to be selling your house in the next 6 months, but you found a great home today that you want to buy. So you buy it, you close on it. 6 months later, you sell your house, your old one. You get all the proceeds from the sale of your house 6 months later, and you just go ahead and move those into your new house loan. You recast 6 months later, and that will lower your monthly payment 6 months later. Very common thing to do. Now, here's where some confusion arises. Recasting is very inexpensive, like a few $100s. Refinancing is expensive. And by expensive, I mean it's comparatively expensive. It's going to cost you a few $1,000s, a couple $1,000s, because you're going to be paying the lender for a brand new loan. When would you want to re-amortize? When would you want to recast? When would you want to refinance? When does it make sense to do one? When does it make sense to do another? Well, when you refinance, not only are you going to be paying more than a recast, not only are you're going to pay more money, but you also will have to take a new interest rate. This is a big deal for people right now because you are maybe sitting at a 3% loan. Maybe you bought a home a couple years ago when interest rates were relatively low. And so you're not able to go out and get another 3% loan right now. The market just doesn't have that. You know, you go out and you say, I want to refinance, but you're looking at a maybe 6.5% interest rate. You don't maybe feel comfortable doing that. If you refinance, you're going to have to take whatever the market interest rate is. With recasting, you get to keep your interest rate. You get to keep whatever your interest rate was on your old loan. Okay? So keep that in mind. Other things to consider, obviously, I'm not a mortgage lender, but I do help a lot of people with questions surrounding their loans. I always recommend that you talk to your lender one-on-one and get some questions answered preliminarily, questions like this, before you get too deep into your home purchase. So I would say with regard to refinancing can be done on any loan. If you have an FHA loan, if you have a VA loan, whatever, conventional loan, you're going to have to requalify for your loan. You're still going to have a qualifying credit score. You're going to have qualifying income, etc. But you're going to have to qualify. But you can refinance pretty much any loan because you're basically throwing that old loan away and getting a new one. If you recast, you don't have to requalify for a loan. But not all loans are able to be recast, and in not all circumstances can you recast. So you have to have there are certain loans you can't, and there also has to be a threshold. Like you can't call your lender up and say, oh yeah, I've got $500, recast my loan, and then it drops your loan, pay monthly payment by $5 or $10 or something, and then just keep doing that. There are stipulations, like you have to have a certain amount of money, like you have to have at least, I think it's usually like $10,000, or there's a certain percentage of the loan that you have to bring as your big lump sum that you pay to your lender in order to have them recast your loan. And then usually you can only recast once during the life of that loan. So something to keep in mind, okay? So I will end with this. This is something that may be more applicable to people who are selling now. If you're selling your home and you want to buy a new one, most clients that I meet for the first time, people that I meet for the first time that are going to sell and buy, they automatically believe that they're going to make their offer on their new home contingent or subject to the sale of their old home. And so I recommend that you have a conversation with your lender about recasting, and then see what your lender says. You may find that it makes sense for you to go ahead and buy your next house, sell your old house later, a couple months down the line, after you've already moved out of your old house, you move into your new one, your old house is now up for sale, it sells a few months later, you take the money a few months later and you recast it into your new mortgage a few months later. You need to have that conversation with your lender and see if that's a better option. Oftentimes, it's a lot more appealing to sellers who are looking at your offer and deciding whether or not they want to work with you. If you're making an offer and you're in a multiple offer situation, a lot of times it's difficult to get your offer accepted if you tell the seller, hey, we have this other house, we have to sell it in order to be able to buy yours. Doesn't look quite as attractive. So the word today, recast. Talk to your lender, see if it's a program that you might be able to utilize in your home search for your next home, your existing home that you own, or the home you're going to be selling. Edward Stevens from the Stevens Group at ReeceNichols. See you one day at the closing table.